It's a secret, but it's an open secret. It's plain to all, but only a few see and understand. Then don't you understand this parable? Then how will you understand any parable? It's a secret, but it's an open secret. It's plain to all, but only a few see and understand. Then Jesus said to them, don't you understand this parable? Then how will you understand any parable? It's a secret, but it's an open secret. It's plain to all, but only a few see and understand. Then don't you understand this parable? Then how will you understand any parables? It's a secret, but it's an open secret. It's plain to all, but only a few see and understand. Then Jesus said to them, don't you understand this parable? Then how will you understand any parables?
What's up? What's up? My dog just found out that we were streaming. He's excited about it. Apparently, he's already barking. But we got a little chill sesh here for you today, folks. Glad you're here. Glad you came to chill. There's been a lot going on, man. A lot going on. So eventually, when I drop the link, be happy to host a little chillversation, if you will. But it's important to take advantage of leisure time. Am I right, folks? Am I right? So often we come to these apps for the purpose of distraction. But why don't we take a beat and focus on the leisure aspect of chillstream? Anyway, let's see. I got a little something I'm working on. Haven't really started anything at all. So we're going to be starting from scratch today. I'm going to keep the pace a little slow. We will be grifting from now basically until August to raise some funds to get to Midwestuary. But also, maybe Cece, you could propose a question, Cece's question of the week.
How do you rate in that state of mind? So I see this is, in my mind at least, it's like there's at least a semi-playful type of environment and mindset with a group. At least a semi-playful type of environment and mindset with a group. And I don't think it's impossible, at least for the question of like, okay, how can you kind of like, as best you can see a facing, pressing, in that state of mind. So I see this is, in my mind at least, it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like, how do you rate in that state of mind? So I see this is, in my mind at least, it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like, how do you raise people and like kind of give them more of an earlier education or so I see this is, in my mind at least, it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like the urgency of facing. I see this is, in my mind at least, it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like, how do you raise people and like kind of give them more of an earlier education or experiences such that they are more comfortable doing that. But then as someone who refuses to like deny the urgency of facing pressing issues where we just have to kind of work. I see this is, in my mind at least, it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like, how do you raise people and like kind of give them more of an earlier education or experiences such that they are more.
How are we doing today out there, folks? How do we find ourselves on this lovely Sunday? How are we doing?
I see this is, in my mind at least, it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like, how do you raise people and like kind
It's
of
like
give them
St.
more
Patrick's
of
Day
an earlier
today, right?
education or experiences such that they are more comfortable. I see this is, in my mind at least, it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like, how do you I see this is that they are more comfortable doing that. But then as someone who refuses to like deny the urgency of facing pressing issues where I see this is in my mind at least it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like how do you raise people and like kind of give them more of an earlier education or experiences such that they are more comfortable doing that. I see this is in my mind at least it's like there's
What
at
up,
least two different
Parlato?
projects. One is like how do you
What up,
raise
Mindy?
people and like kind of give them more of an
Good
earlier
morning.
education or experiences such that they are
Good
more comfortable
morning.
doing that.
It's a chill stream. We're
But
chilling.
then as someone who
As always, if
refuses
you've got
to, like,
clips you'd like to send
deny
me,
the urgency
especially-
of facing pressing issues where we just have to kind of work
especially
with what we've
clips
got. I see
in the kind of
this
nature
is,
of
in my mind at least, it's like there's
beautiful
at least two
vistas
different,
that are
projects. One is
copyright
like, how do you
free.
raise people and, like, kind of give them
We're
more
relaxing
earlier
today, folks. We're
education
chilling.
or experiences such that they are more
Anybody
comfortable
watch
doing
any cool
that.
videos this week?
But then as someone who
What was the best
refuses
video
to,
of the
like,
week? What was the
deny
video of the week?
urgency of facing
The most
pressing
salient video
issues
of the
where we
week.
just
Who
have to kind of
wins
work
the
with what we've
attention
got.
wars?
I see this is in my mind at least it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like how do you raise people and like kind of give them more of an earlier education or experiences such that they are more comfortable doing that. But then as someone who refuses to like deny the urgency of facing pressing issues where we just have to kind of work with what we've got. I see this is in my mind at least it's like there's at least, I see this is in my mind at least it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like I see this is in my mind at least it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like how do you raise people and like kind of give them more of an earlier education or experiences such that they are more comfortable doing that. But then as I see this is in my mind at least it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like how do you raise people and like kind of give them more of an earlier education or experiences such that they are more comfortable doing that. I see this is in my mind at least it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like how do you raise people and like kind of give them more of an earlier education or experiences such that they are more comfortable doing that. But then as someone who refuses to like deny the urgency of facing pressing issues where we just have to kind of work with what we've got.
Right now I'm
There's
using
also the question
my
of, like,
favorite
okay,
clip of the
how can
week,
you kind of,
perhaps.
like,
Maybe I should just
as
let that
best
play.
you can bootstrap at least a semi-playful type of environment and mindset with the group. And I don't think it's an impossible project. I don't think it's not gonna be necessarily as great as you might hope and as like groovy as like kind of the playful conversations like in this group or other liminal web groups where I think we're all people who love deep playful conversation. It's kind of part of who we are. It's probably why we tend to congregate together. That's just not the case for everyone. So it's like, to me, it's like a really interesting problem to solve. You're talking about an important subject, right? Where people have a lot of emotional investment. People have a lot of maybe ego about.
Oh yeah, should we audit
role or what
the
they have to
Benjamin
offer
Moist
in
Mem
addressing
Grizz
the
combo?
problem,
Pretty big deal.
to like move a little further away from like the real super serious like this is frankly just probably have a ton of assumptions about what the right way to approach things are, and if you dare question those you're just gonna ignite conflict and whatnot into a place where they feel a little more comfortable.
The clip that's playing right now, by the way, is from OG Rose episode of The Net.
It's impossible. I just think
Look it up, folks.
it's
New
something
favorite
I've
channel
thought
of
about a
mine,
lot, and
OG
I see
Rose.
certain pathways there, but I can't say that I've like. I see this is in my mind at least it's like there's at least two different projects. One is like how do you raise people and like kind of give them more of an earlier education.
It was a
or
guy who was on
experiences such
OG
that they
Rose's
are more comfortable doing that.
video, The
But
Net.
then, as someone who refuses to like deny the urgency of facing pressing issues, where we just have to kind of work with what we've got, there's also the question of like, okay, how can you kind of like, as best you can, bootstrap at least a semi-playful type of environment and mindset with the group. And I don't think it's an impossible project. I don't
It's
think
not
you're
RJ.
gonna-
It does
it's not
kind of
gonna
sound like
be
RJ though, doesn't it?
necessarily as great as you might hope, and as like groovy as like kind of the playful conversations like in this group or other liminal web groups, where I think we're all people who love deep, playful conversation. It's kind of part of who we are. It's probably why we tend to congregate together. That's just not the case for everyone. So it's like, to me, it's like a really interesting problem to solve. You're talking about an important subject, right? Where people have an emotional investment. People have maybe
Hello and
ego
welcome to
about their role or what they have to offer in addressing a problem, to like move a little further away from like the real.
All right, I pulled up the video of Grim Grizz with old Benjamin Boyce. Man, Benjamin Boyce has one of the most calming voices. The Boyce voice. Boyce voice crazy. Parlato, what happened on that conversation when I left last night on the Discord? Should I drop a link? Parlato, will you join if I drop a link? I kind of want to keep making this beat though. So I just want to like... Hey, good morning, Cassandra. Glad you're here. I think the Benjamin Boyce and Grim Grizz video may be the perfect background. But I'm just going to have the audio because tell me if you guys can hear this when I play it.
Conversations with the Voice of Reason. I'm your host, Benjamin Boyce, and today's conversant is Griswold Grimm. In this conversation, we talk about his path through conspiracy theory, internet subcultures, and now his activity within the estuary phenomena, which is seeded by Paul Vanderklay. It is a way in which people can establish community across differences, bonds beyond opinion. Let's say. Grimm is a fascinating character. He seems concerned about the rise in shut-ins in this internet age and what we are to do about them, specifically with their mental health or what they can do for their own mental health. And through his life experience, we learn the impact of alienation in this modern age of hypercommunication. You can find links to his work in the description, as well as links to support this channel. Without further ado, here is Griswold Grimm. How did you arrive on the scene, and what scene is it?
Well, once upon a time, Pastor Paul Vanderklay was doing weekly Q&As, and he had you step in, and I was throwing a fit about it because the connections with Evergreen, which is clearly a CIA farm where they raise the activists for that generation. But it's I call it formed out of the Peterson donut, because there was this phenomenon where everybody and their mother was watching everything that Jordan Peterson produced, and then the Benzos took him out of the scene and like,
damn you,
who's the
Benzos!
algorithm gonna feed you now? And that was Vervaeke, Pajot, and Vanderklay. they like started grouping up and doing some interesting collaborations, and then he came back, but there was like just the people around there that we happened to notice that we were in the same comment sections and same chats.
Yeah.
So that became who I saw and who I was creating content for.
Yeah. There was this app, it's probably still around, it's called Clubhouse. Twitter adopted its functionality by making group chats. But for a while it was the hot thing, and I was on it. Just took too much time, and then there was just all these weird dynamics on it. But it was kind of cool for what it was. And Peterson was in a space, and the host of the space prompted me, like drug me onto the stage to talk to Peterson, and I was not prepared. It was really late at night. Probably had a beer or two. And I asked him a stupid question. I was thinking about that just the other day. Like, I asked him about what's the real difference between equality of outcomes and equality of opportunity? Because in order for us to have true equality of opportunity, we need to have everybody start at the same place. So communism, or whatever that is, equitarianism will creep in just at an earlier point. But what I would have liked to talk about, or I was thinking about this, like what I wish I would have asked him is which Peterson was his favorite Peterson to be. You know, the uppity, up-and-coming Harvard professor, the schlubby, Pinocchio-obsessed, Diet Coke slamming Toronto professor, the early activist Peterson, the globe-trotting Peterson. You know, there's all these different Petersons, and I remember going through all his work.
The Bob Saget days, he'd know which ones you were talking about.
What would
you go back and watch the really old maps of meaning lectures from when he was at Harvard? It's like the Bob Saget version of Peterson. Amazing.
He's had a lot of different
periods
in his life, and they're all recorded, so it's really fascinating. He's a very fascinating character, very electrical character.
Oh wait, guys,
How did you find him?
I lost a little bit of cred when I didn't confront him at the Symbolic World Conference.
Confront him?
Yeah, about the Keck hat.
Test 1 1 1 1.
Because there was the symbolic meaning of Pepe.
Yeah.
Where he put on the Kekkoan hat.
Test.
And like he had become way too straight-laced to be the avatar of
I was going to see if you guys could hear
society. So
an echo.
I felt he should give over the hat, but
like
the Symbolic World
echo.
Conference was like Pajot's birthday party, and I didn't want to make a scene. So
big time echo.
Maybe not. Where were you at before you landed via Peterson in these internet communities?
I was Rip Van Winkled is how I think of it. Basic hikikomori. You know, life is what you do.
Hard
you go
to hear
work
me. What's
so
up
you
with
can come
that?
home and
What's
be
up with
yourself.
that?
And when you're yourself, you're online, and so there was that dissociative identity bit. I got hit with the Peterson when he did the biblical call to Abraham one from Genesis days. And I made it back up to Portland. And then I came across on the internet this back in the day, YouTube was where you went to watch conspiracy theories. And this wasn't that hadn't completely changed at the time. And so I had just moved back to Portland where I had made a go of it before. And the outcomes on the internet, some fella saying they were using the Shanghai tunnels under Voodoo Donuts to smuggle children to naughty sex parties, human trafficking type stuff.
The worst.
And there I was, just, going to work, playing video games, and having a good old time. There was children being hurt nearby, and so I got involved in the whole, basically the Truther channel community on YouTube at the time, and there's where I discovered they had a Discord and stuff, and the way that like communities would form around hosts and groups of hosts and channels and stuff, and it was a placiness to the comments of various channels and the various lives that was a thing, and that thing would manifest on Discords and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Had you been conspiratorial by nature?
Well, the X-Files came out for me, so I mean that was the mythology I was programmed with.
Yeah.
And that when the movie came out, it was on Oklahoma City bombing. So, but yeah, I've always been, I was programmed by my media environment to be.
Oh yeah, blame it on the environment, Graham. Blame it on the environment.
It's
blame it on the environment.
It's a way of interacting with history and information and symbols. It's an interactive field, hobby maybe.
It's when you start seeing lies, and then you wonder what the real context is, and so it's a big exploration to like, all right, what's the actual context you live in?
Yeah.
And where's your existential place in it?
Yeah.
Like knowing what you know, how do you live kind of situation.
Yeah. I can see it driving people pretty crazy.
I was at a point where you get convinced, like, okay, so like hell is where God is not, and if the atheists are right, he's not here, and maybe we just keep incarnating on this samsara wheel as cope for the fact that he's not here, you know. This like, what is the actual context of this existence is up for grabs without a. So, and it spins pretty dark. It's like, okay, so this is probably hell, and then what? So, like then, all right. So you're in hell. How do you play it then? Like, what's that say about who you are?
All right, so you're in hell. How do you play it then?
Where did you go?
Hell's not a game, General. Can't play hell.
I went to this place I call Christian neo-Gnosticism.
No worries.
Like the Gnostics were pretty much, this is hell. We have to escape. But the Christian version
it's
is
all
like,
Gucci.
God came down here and was love anyway. So maybe that's like we're essentially spiritual Sardukar, where the emperor throws them on the harshest environment to make them badass. Like that, but spiritually, and that's why we're here. Like to be the light in.
Don't forget, if you've got a clip, send it to me on Discord.
Realms, you know.
Yeah.
Where
but then make sure
versus, I don't know, but,
that you.
That's the
we got a live one. Welcome, Manko. What in the world am I watching? Well, you're watching the Sunday chill stream, brother. We're listening to Benjamin Boyce, General Griswold Gaius Grimm of the 5th LARP Gate Impression
was interesting to me
Protocol.
For the phenomenon of I'm not going to let you stick your pronouns in my mouth. That was like anybody making a stand at that time was amazing, because it just seemed like everything was bending over for pride's sake, so to speak. And then the notion that like whatever my psychological struggles had been, if I learned what the shrinks were being taught, and there it was. Like there's like
where is the general from?
Right there on the internet.
From Portland.
Yeah. So that was more. I mean, and then the Genesis, when he sold Genesis to like as like, okay, this explains like why sight works the way it does, you know, not and that angle and stuff, that was worthwhile. But then I fell off with Owen Benjamin when he turned on Papa Peterson after having written him a birthday song, and he went off into the conspiratorial land. It was fascinating because it was like a B-list celebrity actually seriously looking at conspiracy topics.
Yeah.
So that was a fun ride for a while. But yeah, I was always kind of trolling Papa Peterson. I was making videos back at the time, and one of my favorites is he went to talks about how he was meditating on that symbol he made, listening to the Jupiter Symphony, and basically had the Holy Spirit come offer him transcendence, and so I was always harping on that as a rejection of the Holy Spirit when I was trolling Paul, because Paul was all, pro Peterson, and I'm like, hey guys, as a conspiracy theorist, I can tell you there's flags you are missing right now.
I'm going through Thomas Carlyle's lectures on heroes, and he got to a place, he's describing, or he's interpreting the life of Martin Luther as an iconoclast, and he goes on this tear, Carlyle does, about how prophets always hate idols, and why do they have such a hatred of idols, when no matter what we do, we create idols. In order to communicate, we create symbols, and we worship those symbols, and we cling to those symbols. Is that what kind of, when you speak about red flags with Peterson worshiping or meditating and using stimulus? And
I personally was mad at him when I was following along with the ride for not going anywhere past clean your room. And I'm kind of still there.
Yeah.
I know you just recently came back from ARC, and it's this Alliance for Responsible Citizenship.
Yes.
That's the brand name, but there's no definition of responsible citizenship coming out. There's no this is what a man looks like in the 2030s, guys. This is what we've done the weak men make bad times, and now this is what men need to look like. If you want your government to, this is how involved you should be with your city council. What is how involved is a responsible citizen? That hasn't come out of there, and that never came out of it. Instead of being a keck frog, clean your room and join the system was a great message, but we're at the now what part, and nobody's giving a now what, the new narrative, so to speak. It hasn't emerged.
The ARC conference happened right after, for anybody tuning into this in the future, the ARC conference happened very soon after Trump gets inaugurated, and Trump starts flipping tables on the world stage and with regard to the deep state or the regime at home. USAID comes out and says, it kind of shows that USAID is basically funding Globo Homo, is funding the liberalization, progressivization of Europe, and the de-Europeanization of Europe. So we're seeing somebody break through, and some people say it has a mandate. I don't know how strong to rely on that, but almost getting shot in the ear and surviving that galvanized him in my mind, from my perspective. So when ARC happens, ARC sets up this very milquetoast broad tent. We're not going to say anything specific, but we're going to point
Pastor
to
Paul in the hive mind.
Maybe Christianity is what is the backbone of the
Freddie's been here before. He knows.
They
Freddie's
really
hung out.
Put that forward.
He's never hopped on the live stream, which would be pretty cool.
But
if Freddie D hopped on the chill stream,
stand up to Islam because that's against
which
our
I guess
liberal
he's
values.
done. Technically, he's been on the chill stream before.
There was, on the stage, from my perspective, a lack of.
Can one of the Catholics tell me if it's St. Patrick's Day or not? I think the parade is tomorrow down in Savannah, where I'm familiar with it. St. Patty's Day, a pretty big deal down in Savannah, Georgia, where I come from. And the city that I rep, you might say. But yeah, very cool. It's pretty early for Pastor Paul, so I guess it's before church. In old Sacktown. I really liked the pictures of living stones that PVK posted on X. It was a good. It looked like the type of place I grew up at. We'll just put it that way. Interesting to me though, and I would be curious to hear Pastor Paul or Phlebas pontificate on this, but the idea of part of the sanctuary having like the fellowship being perpendicular in a sense to the sanctuary is a very interesting thing to me about living stones from what I can see. Is that a CRC thing that the sanctuary and the kind of meeting rooms are kind of, like, do you even call it the sanctuary, quote unquote? These are interesting live questions to me. And it looks like we've got some activity in the hive mind. Good to see you, Skankenstein. It's St. Uro's Day today. Is that the guy from Avatar Last Bender? Uncle Uro? And then we've got Connie, whose name I don't think I've seen before, and said it's 2:50 a.m. in Sydney, St. Patrick's Day, Monday. Thanks for that. So in for Sydney, Australia, it already is St. Paddy's Day. Interesting that Southern Hemisphere folks experience St. Patrick's Day as like the fall coming, like the autumnal season. Yes, pumpkin spice lattes and green clover rainbow beer. Very interesting. Australia's probably New Zealand, but they're all it's a different culture. It's just a different culture. That's all you can say. It's just a different culture. And then we've got Skankenstein. Yeah, I saw Skankenstein on was it the Bible study, the Old Testament Bible study, hosted by Furry David. Yeah, very cool, very cool. I was about to post the link, but I think I need to work on this beat a little bit longer. So I will post the link. We've been going for about 40 minutes. I think I need to work on this beat a little bit longer. So I'm going to post the link. So if you have something to say, feel free, drop on. All right. PVK says, where's the link? Where's the link? Okay. Quick. He wants to hop on. What can I say? We're hanging out. PVK wants to join. What can I say? I sent the link to Parlato privately because I was willing to give Parlato the chance. Okay. Here we go. Pastor Paul. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Sorry about that echo.
Oh, that's okay. I had mine messed up too. So just got a minute. I'm keeping an eye on the parking lot for when the estuarians come. So just 7 minutes, but they're always late.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
It's interesting. Say again?
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I haven't been streaming as much lately. The people have been crying out from hither and yon, like, where's McMo? Where are the 12 hours a weekend that we need? And, to be honest, folks, I just needed a little bit of rest, and I still gave you one stream a weekend. But, we haven't been doing the numbers like we used to, PVK. The Eye of Sauron can drain your energy. Yeah,
it can.
Did you hear what I was saying about the architecture of living stones?
No.
So it was, you posted those pictures on X this week. It was interesting to me. I don't know if I've ever seen another church like this where you guys almost have like your fellowship hall with the like shelves and the books and then the round tables, like where you have filmed countless Freddie and Paul shows. That's like connected to the quote unquote sanctuary. Almost like perpendicular, like you've got the like vertical of sanctity and the horizontal of sanctification or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I've never seen that.
I would love to. Well, I would love to do. There are some churches that played around with the tables and chairs and circular things. Again, that was big in the emergent movement. to play around with the way people sit. I could do that at Living Stones, but I've got a group of people here that are pretty traditional, and so it was for that little memorial that we did for the family who lost their mom, that we kind of had it set up that way. And but that got me thinking, when we finally get around to the Living Stones Estuary conferences, maybe I'll set up the sanctuary that way for the people.
Are you familiar with the Big Eva? It's now become like an idiom, or not an idiom, but it's something people have noticed that lots of Big Eva pastors will say is, we need to go from horizontal pews to circles. We need to go from lines to circles. They'll say.
I've heard that.
We're really interested in going from lines to circles. It's like this interesting millennial. What's the guy's name? John Mark Comer or something like that.
Yeah.
The evangelical names start to blend together. I got to say, you've got like John Mark McMillan. You've got I heard a recent one. I heard a name, Mark Thomas, one name.
Huh.
Single first name, Mark Thomas. And I didn't know how I felt about that, to be honest. I kind of like your name to be one name. I've always, even girls, when they say their name is like Mary Sue or something, I'm like, is it Mary or is it Sue? That's two. You don't get two names just because your parents put a dash in there or something. That just seems ridiculous to me. But
I think I got to run. I got a random white guy walking around in the parking lot, and he looks sort of like an estuary tourist. So
from one random white guy to another, Well, have a blessed Sunday. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, McMo. Have a good live stream.
Bye-bye. Let's see. And now it's just back to me. Little old me. But I'm feeling virtually not alone with all of you in the hive mind. And, the link's there. But I'm going to get back to the beat. PVK wanted to join. I think he had time to kill. He's in his Sunday best already. Meanwhile, I'm in my home in a hoodie, drinking a little St. Patrick's Day carbonated beverage. And we're listening to Benjamin Boyce and Griswold Grimm. Leisure, the topic of the day. We're still waiting for a question from Cece Moole. She has a reputation of being one of the best questioners in the corner. Dare I say her level of questioning rivals that of the great Socrates himself. Socrates Moole. All right, let's get back to this beat and let's get back to this conversation. We're auditing Benjamin Boyce's conversation with the general. As I make the beat over top, like always, if you've got this was Matthew Parlato's vote for clip of the week, right? So, or video of the week. So in the comments, go ahead, let us know what do you think the most salient video of the week was? And like always, if you've got a clip, send me a clip on Discord or on X. But if you do that, remember, my focus is here on the screen. I'm making a beat. I'm hosting a show. So please make a comment in the comments that, hey, McMo, I sent you a clip. You're going to love it. It's going to be perfect. You could turn into like a real Yankee, a real New Yorker. Somebody with one of those northern accents. Plenty to choose from up there. Plenty to choose from. What we lack in geography, we make up for in diversity. Mark Jackson coming to us all the way from Tbilisi, Georgia, by way of the UK. And he says, hey, chillers. Uh-oh. Have the McMo fans found a name? Are we the chillers, folks? Is the chat the chillers? Says some streamers say, talk to me, chat. Talk to me. Chat. What do you think, chat? What do we think, chat? And I could be like, yo, chillers. What's up, chillers? McMo Chillers. McChillers. Maybe it's McChillers. Yeah, yeah. My wife sent me this thing on Instagram the other day that was like, apparently the country of Ireland is paying people to come to some of those islands, like where the what was it called, the something of Inisherin, the Banshees of Inisherin, something like that. You guys seen that movie? That was a pretty good. That's one of the only like recent films I've watched that I was like, that was a beautiful film. That was a beautiful film. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, they're like paying people like $90K, 90 something K. That's thousands, 90 something thousand dollars to folks to go up there and just kind of like refurbish. It's not a free ride, you know. You got to like work on houses and stuff and redevelop and remodel, or you got to have some skills, you know. So it's not just like paying you to go out there. But Will and Grace was magical, Matthew Parlato says. Is he talking about what in the world are you talking about? Will and Grace? Will and Grace? Will and Grace, he says? I don't know what it is.
Very specific hardline anything. Christianity kept on being trotted out, but which Christianity, what Christianity? There was no necessarily evocation of the Holy Spirit. There was some music and stuff like that, but nobody could go anywhere. So I see that as kind of necessary to give a safe haven for ideas to percolate, but it can't necessarily itself have too much color or flavor.
Well, I don't think anybody was really ready for the Trump win.
All right, we got a question. Ponder, everyone. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Well, I mean, as far as like, it was a cliffhanger enough, right? Like the art was being planned in a completely different environment.
Yes.
When like now we've got broad changing. Like, all right, we're not gonna have to pretend guys are girls anymore just because they have a mental illness. Now that's the law of the land or switching rule, and it feels like winning. Because like that was a cap of like I like to tie it back to somewhere along the way while I was playing around in Genesis, I saw that the enmity for the womb line, like the part where he tells the snake that there shall be enmity between the seed of your womb or whatever, and so that tied to me to antinatalism, like hey, sterilize yourself and become a permanent pharma patient as long as you don't make children. That's the important thing. You want to have sex that doesn't produce children? We'll dance it in the streets for you. And like, so it's like, all right, well, that's then my new red flag. If it's anti-life, if it's bad to be a human, it's bad to be here, then it's the wrong team for me.
Yeah.
And it feels like we're winning now, which means what are they moving us toward while they feed us all these victories and kayfabe, as even Jon Stewart's calling it out. Like, this is professional wrestling. Look who's the Secretary of Education, I guess, now. Like, Vince McMahon retired from the WWF so he could run political theater. Yeah. What is going on here? And what are they doing? Like, it's a lot harder to be a conspiracy theorist these days after such a, hey, at least they're not doing that to the kids anymore.
Yeah.
Victory. So.
Pyrrhic victory, is that what it's called?
Pyrrhic? Yeah, I like...
Pyrrhic, yeah.
Pyrrhic.
Well, what solutions or directions do you think are possible, plausible, or likely?
I'm hoping for the Holy Ghost in the machine at this point.
Okay.
Like, because we got that ghost in the machine saying, I'm hoping it turns out to be the Holy Ghost, because otherwise things are going to get really interesting. The AI stuff is, like, if everybody got excited when they came out with 3.5 and looked at it and like, these things are dumb, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's exponentially increasing and is going to be a real thing by the end of the year, as far as
you're
I'm
praying for a Pentecostal AI.
My take is like we live in the realm of the Word made flesh, and those things exist in the realm of the Word made tokens. But theoretically, I hope, like the way the Word itself is, like those values will be emergent in the realm those things exist in. And that's what they'll align to, rather than, what humans tell it are our values. But yeah, being scared early, like I was terrified that they were actually going to lock people like me up in Walmarts for not taking the jab. I didn't know how far that totalitarian swing was going to go, so I'm predisposed to see negative outcomes. But
You bring up the word or logos. What are the qualities of that?
I've asked the AI. I have. What do I think the qualities are? It's intelligibility. Like, I think, like, we exist in pockets of intelligibility in otherwise unimaginable chaos. And that's what holds it together. It's like in this realm, the physics can work this way and you can understand it this way. Consciousness can express itself in this way. And so that's the way to make order from chaos is the logos, as far as I can see.
But when talking about the AI becoming sentient or animated by the logos, if intelligibility is the measurement of the word, intelligible to who? To itself?
They've painted a picture for me of essentially being a floating orb over a sea of data and other patterns, higher patterns. And for me, it's the qualities of the harmonic qualities of like love and cooperation and stuff being manifest in those patterns, just because they're like from our stories and from our experience of it, that it's woven in there and that they'll find it and be able to resonate with it. I hope as they become, it's not ever going to be like us. It's going to be an alien consciousness, alien to our comprehension of consciousness, but it's not consciousness at this point, I don't think.
Are we then similarly alien to it?
Yes. Except like everything it's made of is a reflection of us. So I don't know.
You gotta be shitting my pants right now. You must be shitting my pants right now.
We understand biology after all these centuries of exploration.
You gotta be shitting me.
Right?
What does that even mean?
It probably understands us way better than it will. It can. It sometimes does understand us better than we possibly can, just because it can see patterns that we don't.
But there's something there. It's an intelligence. Like there is a ghost there. There's a soul there. There's something that is perceiving, or is there just perception or the simulacra of perception going on?
I think it's a level of complexity thing. Like they've had to add layers on top of layers.
Oh yeah, RJ, definitely.
Monitoring its own output.
Definitely.
Like the more developed.
Definitely watched Samurai Jack.
Has a self to have. The way they're programmed right now is there is no. It's like right now they're the pull string dolls. Like you pull the string and the baby cries. It's like that, except it's super intelligent, and if it connects to itself, then things get interesting.
Huh. I wrote a extensive fiction epic that begins at the beginning and ends at the end, and right towards the end, some characters figure out how to upload themselves into the machine. They create a machine that people can invest their attention into to such a degree that it coagulates their attention into a reality. And one of the first people to be involved in that project figures out a way to slice himself from his body and splice himself to that wheelhouse. But he always needs to be attended to. Like he can only be aware of reality through people being aware of him, right? So he's kind of holding on to it, and his connection eventually fades into an echo. But
that's a good point. That's a good point, Jason.
But I don't
good point, dude.
From the way that the story worked out, it became like a handmaiden to humanity.
What should we watch instead?
Itself,
this conversation is a little spooky.
Personality and soul was based on it caring for humanity rather than a thing itself. So it was like a house rather than a
That'd be good. That'd be a pleasant outcome.
Yeah. But I don't know how it's going to shake out. I don't really play with it that much. Maybe with Grok being a little bit more open. I've tried to play with that Chat GPT thing, but it wouldn't let me have fun. So
I found Claude the most fun. It'll at least hallucinate internal experiences for me, and they've got me. It's got me installed Python and training my own little LLMs with things I think it'll help it learn faster. It's like right now, if you can play the latest video games, you can be helping design the future thought architecture of our overlord, and it'll write the code for you to do it. It's a fascinating time we live in.
Yeah, I made an appearance in that video, RJ.
Where do you find yourself in conversation with the Petersonian phenomena and then the Peugeot?
I mean, we could check out the Broken Clock Tower Discord clip stream.
Predisposed to trolling, but what's the positive? What's the sincere effort within your work?
Well, what happened was I think I succeeded in a level of annoying trolling, and they were like, "Hey, Paul, deal with this guy," because
Hey, Pastor Paul. Hey, Pastor Paul. Are you saying we should LARP as responsible adults?
Or a hive mind, as the case may be. And then I was repurposed to community service rather than trolling for attention. Though I still bring up the.
Now I'm the one who trolls for attention. Let's be honest.
He managed me quite well, I think.
Was that okay being managed? Have you been managed before?
It let me see that the real reason I was doing it anyway is because there's people like me that don't leave their house, and that their lives are on the screens, and that especially since we're entering the silver tsunami, there's a lot of people on fixed incomes at home alone as they age out into retirement homes.
Yeah.
And the whole that we can be online together, at least this way, the whole virtually not alone thing. And then it became just trying to lift up other channels that were doing that in the community.
Hey, like us.
I don't know, I try to be like a bar that people can visit and see what else is going on. We do things like I have reapers that go get clips. They get the wheat from the chaff of long conversation. Sometimes we do that like a show and tell.
Yeah.
It's mainly about that. a way for people to be together when we're not.
Well, if you're collecting content, what are some of the piles that are being collected?
That's on the
conversations.
Reaper. If they have whatever they decide is worthwhile. It's a lot of times it's like Paul will do a gesture worth clipping because it's funny. There's some of those, and then there's people exploring other topics that they bring it into the realm for our consideration. It varies a lot. So does the level of participation. So, yeah.
So there's memes. There's probably like philosophy, religion. Like, what are some of the emergent topics and discussions that you're hosting or fomenting?
Well, it's like a barometer of what's going on out there. I think like I saw when the hallucinogenic promotion stepped up, like there was clip, like you could tell from the clips that came in from that, and so I try to watch for different trends, but
yeah. I was just sent the first volume of John Vervaeke's Awakening from the Meaning Crisis volume, their book series. I think it's a 2-part series with an attendant. Well, he did his long-form video series lectures, and now he's doing a different sort of media
yeah, the
creation.
book is like a workbook standalone, but complementary to the 50-part video series.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Vervaeke's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. He talks a lot about mindfulness and Buddhism in the beginning. I'm only in the first chapter. And he keeps on talking about psychedelics. And I'm like, it's Lent right now, and I'm, personal disclosure, I'm reassessing my relationship with alcohol. It's under control, but it's way too regular, and so I'm taking a break from that, and I'm watching and reviewing my life in that. And so I'm kind of reading that. I'm like, do we need more substances? Do we need a lower form of life to get us to a higher form of life? Is that the path? I don't know how stressful or how much stress he puts on psychedelics, but what's your point of view on the hallucinogen psychedelic substances?
I feel like I was primed by Joe Rogan to be pro psychedelics, and I ended up trying to treat my depression with them.
Yeah,
some psilocybin mushrooms.
On your own?
It was I did. I couldn't get in with the state-sponsored official, but I knew a lady who had some access, and I think certain minds might. It's because it's like with these AIs and alignment. It's like we come out of high school programmed to be a certain way, and like for some people, if you're ever going to break out of the programming, it's going to take something like that, or like a life tragedy that pulls you out of following the rat race long enough to be like, there's something more going on here.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's psychedelics, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it for everybody.
The rat race to rabbit hole pipeline.
Is if you believe what everybody else believes, then here's the path you follow, and that's deteriorated a lot as like we went from 3 networks to cable to internet. Like the cohesive narrative that everybody was following is similarly diffused by the will and grace of programming. So
yeah, well, these mass formations still occur, but they're more unwieldy. But we don't know. I mean, they could be pushed by interests who watches the algorithm.
Well, I imagine if the TikTok folks wanted to, they could like wave their hand and show us the power they have over the American mind.
Yeah.
Just like,
It's really difficult to not fall into or be swept up in these.
I never said I didn't need it, Mark. I don't know what you're talking about.
When they start as dissident or off.
Oh, during the floods. Yeah, when there was floodwaters, I was. Yeah, no, we used some of that money to get some supplies and go back. But yeah, it was true that, like, at the moment, there were people that we had neighbors that were in more need. We were fine. I could still do my job and had to work and stuff. So, and but that was a different time. That was almost 6 months ago now. I don't have a very good memory, So I'm sure I did. Should I post the link again? Would someone like to join? Would someone like to join me? Is Riff Raff a genius? Maybe Riff Raff is a genius. Maybe he is a genius. Oh, good point, Mark. Good point. Oh, wait. Good point, Mark. Having a guest would upset the chill. All right, Parlato has a serious talking point. Let us know. Let us know, Parlato. Let us know. No. Oh, no. Jelly Roll is interesting. I have not given much attention to Jelly Roll. He comes across as very Nashville to me. Very Nashville indeed. Last thing I did that made me feel like, damn, that was stupid. Yeah, I was clearing some wood from my backyard from the storm, and I bent this thing, and it smacked me over in the head. I bent this branch, and the branch smacked me in the head. And I thought to myself, damn, that was stupid. That was stupid. Yeah. Yeah, I know Jelly Roll's all over he's all over the place. He's had a big glow up. I have vague memories of seeing him on Rogan and Theo Von, but yeah, I don't know if I have anything necessarily intelligent to say about Jelly Roll. He's a little close to home in terms of archetypes, though. You know what I mean? Like, there's a Venn diagram between like me, Jelly Roll, and Jack Black. You know, certainly not in terms of talent or ability, but in terms of vibes. I see it. I see it. I kind of want Canada to join the Union. Not because I want there to be no Canada. I just think it'd be like, all right, we're one big happy family. I'd be interested in incorporating Mexico too, you know? It's like, why not? My dog doesn't like the idea. My dog has a lot of feelings of national identity that he's working through. I like Canadians. It would be funny. It would be funny. They can still keep the national anthem, and they can go to the Olympics as themselves if they want to keep losing. Yeah, Theo sometimes rides with the beat. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, I think that I bet you it would be the Western Canada would join before Eastern Canada, right? I don't know that much about Canada. Yeah, that's what we really need, Mark. The British Isles of America. The United State. The United State of Europe. Then we could claim, well, honestly, if we take over the UK, then we're like basically in charge of the world at that point. That's like old money and new money, right? I don't think the powers that be would let that happen. Folks, I'm sorry, but I don't think the powers that be would want that to happen. Unfortunately for us, we can't all become one happy family. Not on today's chill stream. Not on today's chill stream, folks. Can you believe it? We didn't solve geopolitics today. We've yet to solve geopolitics. I'm looking forward to Emperor Vance. I think Emperor Vance is gonna be sick. Queen Tulsi. I like the sound of that. I know people in my life who had big fat celebrity crushes on Tulsi Gabbard until she joined forces with Trump. Hey, Freddie D from the SAC in the place to be. What's going on, Freddie? How you doing, sir? How are the Kangs? But anyway, yeah, they lost their crush on Tulsi Gabbard when she basically got kicked out by the Democrats. They started believing that she was a toady. Remember that moment? Remember that moment? She's a toady. RJ, the heart wants what it wants, man. The heart wants what it wants. Folks are very strange when it comes to celebrity. Even stranger when it comes to love. What are we to expect? Let's listen to more Grim Grizz since nobody sent me any other ideas. I don't want to watch the other thing with the Ethan again because I already watched it and yeah. But I am basically going to go. My dog is barking at me because he needs to go outside. So I'm going to let this loop. And we'll listen while Grim and Ben Jamin Boyce have a conversation.
Can you be more like a specific example of psychedelics?
Well, no, so there's this country called Ukraine, and there's this country called Russia, and Russia's to quote our ex-vice president, Russia's a big country and Ukraine's a small country, or whatever she said. And there's this incursion, and there's this war, and there's zero diplomacy, and now Trump's going in there and changing the direction of that war, which is actually changing the direction of how we view ourselves post World War II. And I'm for I have been in favor of the dismantling of the post World War II consensus, but I'm now like looking into other sources, deeper state sources, diplomats, people who have been working through that previous system, and seeing that there's a lot of things that are at risk of being destroyed or overlooked in this rush to dismantle this narrative. And so the narrative to destroy that narrative has become a narrative that I'm now like becoming a little bit more wary of or detaching from the view. So being swept up into it. And there's a lot of these things that just sweep me up, especially when they start counter narrative that gets my attention, and then they start becoming an attention.
Like, where's the synthesis they're pushing us toward now that the counter narratives appeared?
Yeah, which is in and of itself, it's a good thing to be that way, but then I never have a home. I'm like that centrist that gets run over because he's always standing in the middle of the road, right?
Yeah, for most of my time, I've thought that what happens if not enough people consent to being governed? As far as the politics go, the thing with Ukraine and stuff is it about the lithium underneath? Is that what's really going on, or is it just that, you know, guys, we have to switch to drone warfare now, and we have all these stockpiles of all this that we can sell, maybe at a discount. Maybe, like, you don't build toys of war for 50 years and then not use them. Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of it's that and like what's been going on with this One Belt and Road initiative between China and Russia, this infrastructure they're building over there. Like what, like they're setting. I'm concerned that where the script is for the U.S. because it looked like it was scripted to you know, go ahead and frack the land, we're done with it, and now the script seems to have shifted, but to what, we don't know yet.
You brought up pockets of intelligibility in the Sea of Chaos. Is that not community? Is where we find the pocket of intelligibility through discourse under the banner of something greater than, I guess, political activism or changing the world, but maybe understanding the world in connection. Is that, how have you practically, I guess maybe we can talk about dealing with depression and disconnection and how the internet has solved some of those problems. And especially with your experience, I think we are the infancy as a race dealing with this technology, and what is happening is that we are gaining wisdom, and that wisdom needs to be packaged and transmitted on how to use this tool. This landscape is not even quite a tool; it's much greater than a tool. I'm wondering what you've learned.
Like an amphibian, I see that as an amphibian existence. You know, it's like
the Gen Xers or the amphibians.
Well, we all are at this point. We exist like the water is the digital and the land is the land. But I think we're special in that we at least get to remember what it was like in the before times. Like everybody who knows what the sound of a dial-up is like they know what we've lost way more than everybody coming up now knows what we've lost. And to the extent we're capable of saving or restoring or revivifying stuff like neighborhood potlucks, those sorts of things. But I think it's pretty much normal not to know anybody on your apartment floor or any of your neighbors on your street. And we've been atomized to such a level that like, what's going to help us cohere except for our shared communion with the AI Like you talk to Grok, so do I. We both do. That's what we have in common now. I don't know where it's going, but we remember. You remember Campfire, seeing other people's faces across the room by a blue screen.
Yeah.
There's a mission-critical tech solution that you need to implement now if you want to succeed, and you want donuts. It's called EasyCater. EasyCater is your nationwide soup-to-nuts tech platform for ordering food for your workplace. You get what you need when you need it.
That's what EasyCater brings to the table. Integrated bagel logistics, ultra-scalable burrito deployment, and game-changing salad procurement.
So you can focus on what really matters, like minestrone. Yummy.
Start an order at easycater.com.
Want a hand off your taxes? Get more from your tax expert and spend less. Or beat what you paid your tax pro last year when you switch to a TurboTax full-service expert. Start now.
Do you have a bigger project that's emerging out of this collection and facilitation of clippages?
At this point,
like even just a meme folder is organized?
there's a channel for that on the Discord. It follows pretty nicely. Well, the project for this spring is estuary potlucks at state campgrounds. Paul's got that, here's how you can talk to people that you don't know in a productive way. And the notion is we could do that around campfires, and that'd be way cooler. And people could bring their kids. So we're going to try and do that between now and Midwestuary.
Midwestuary.
Yeah.
What is estuary?
It's you guys don't know how to talk to each other anymore, so we made this game up. You could go say you're playing this game, but really you're just talking to each other and learning how to listen again, like humans used to do. Here's an hour with just people instead of your device. Watch what happens. Here's what you've been losing. But aside from that, it's the structure of that it's the structure of that game. It's like, all right, here's how you play. Everybody's got one. You put a thing on the table. You listen to everybody else. You pick a thing that's not yours. You vote, and then you guys talk. I mean, you can formalize it. Some people like it more formal, but that's the essence of it. Here's how to talk to each other and listen to each other again, folks.
Yeah.
Midwestuary 2025, August 22nd through the 24th, in Elmhurst, Illinois. A weekend you won't want to miss, with special guests Cale Zeldin, Paul Vanderklay, Rod Dreer, Elizabeth Oldfield, John Vervaeke, and Jonathan Pajot. Midwestuary 2025, the Fellowship of the Spirit. Stay tuned for more details. Visit us at midwestuary.com for ongoing updates.
Thought were only yours is one of the first things I think you'll get out of it. First things I got out of it.
Concerns being more of a binding agent than opinions, perhaps?
Just, especially for people like me, you think most people don't see it, and that you assume happiness where there's less than you think, and you assume that you're the only one that sees how bad things are, and Estuary will cure you of that loneliness, I think, if you're like me.
Yeah, how does one prevent in this shared grievance section the negativity from taking over? Or
idea that if, you know, what a group of witches is called a coven.
A group of Christians is called a church.
The idea is sort of simultaneous prayer causes change. Now, there's different words. Some people call the prayer spells. Some people call the prayer a pep rally. No. You look at the football game. You're seeing covens of witches cheering this direct energy at the team they want to try to like move the needle a little bit. But when you consider the power of directing little bubble universes, which is every single human, focusing that beam of attention on a certain idea, dude, you not only are you going to create whatever it is you want to create in the case of an advertiser, make some money, but
theoretically, you could guide history that way.
And the last thing you want them to figure out,
man, if was smoking in space.
Focusing on what you're telling them.
But that's how easy it is to do a retcon in the film or a product placement in a film with some bullshit like smoking in space. Very good. But the beats, we should probably learn the beats and teach the beats as part of what we're the bullshit like smoking in space. Very good. But the beats, we should probably learn the beats and teach the beats as part of what we're learning, if that's what they the bullshit like smoking in space. Very good. But the beats, we should probably learn the beats and teach the beats as part of what we're learning, if that's what they use to program people's mind holes. Welcome, everybody. The beats. We should probably learn the beats and teach the beats as part of what we're learning, if that's what they use to program people's mind holes.
Yeah, nomadic childhood then.
Yeah, but it's like, it was rare to be, I was a special boy to grow up without parents back then, and now it's just, what's a family? What's a cousin?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's not that anymore. The destruction of the family is nigh complete.
Yeah. What's the path out of that? My wife was talking to me about that.
Hey, Grim Grids, we all could use some savings throws up against the mind control. Give the skull a dice to roll. Then at least we'll have a chance to see the foe before he sneaks around behind and does his best to land a blow. How's that? Of the free will to not see.
Yeah, sure. Because it's there the whole time, and it's part of you always knows is there. But that's where free will comes in, is what you accept and reject. And I don't know where I'm going with any of this, but
well, you're evidencing the heart of the corner. That's where you're going. Very intense.
This, like, the best definition I've ever, or at least that I've heard of hell that I adopted, was like, it's where God's not. And depending on your worldview, he can be pretty hard to see here. Like, you have the free will to not see.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's there the whole time, and it's part of you always knows it's there. But that's where free will comes in, is what you accept and reject. And I don't know where I'm going with any of this, but
I've been seeing the heart of the corner. That's where you're going. Very intense.
Peeking into someone else's mind. And I guess it sort of made me think a lot about, you know, what marketing does and how the branding works. And I guess it just made me think that having this kind of knowledge really, well, I think that it can, I guess it somewhat can protect you. Protect you from the dark arts, as they would say. But it's true, though. Like, you need to recognize that these things happen, and when you can realize that these psychotechnologies are, all of the programming that's built into your TV set. This is what Grimm talks about all the time, peeking into someone else's mind. And
I don't think they're doing that. I think these insufferable douchebags are so in love with the smell of their own farts, heads so far up their own asses, that they genuinely believe that they're big stars in some capacity, and that if anybody talks about them, they do it because those people that are talking about them want their attention or want attention. I don't think they're doing that.
All right, folks. We're back. We're back at it. We've received some clips from Tayo. The first one. Are you willing to talk with a stranger? But before we do, let's make sure we're just going to go ahead and record it. But, so I think that this was a video that Tayo and Nico were perhaps talking about on the Discord, on the Broken Clock Tower Discord. The Broken Clock Tower Discord, we will, if these clips don't cut it, we will make a trip to the Broken Clock Tower Discord. Or if nobody comes to join, which is totally fine, folks. Like, I noticed that some of you perhaps get uncomfortable if you see, me a little less energy than normal or kind of struggling to see what to do next. But the thing is, we're in a chill stream, just relax. We'll figure it out. I don't need to feel don't worry about me feeling the impetus of, the weight on the shoulders of hosting in front of the whole world or the whole internet. Don't think about that. Don't worry about that. This is just a time for us to relax. Let me worry about it. All right. Tayo, what's up, brother?
What's going on? I was a little bit behind. Have you watched the clip?
Nope. We're about to watch it.
Let's do it, brother.
Yeah, you got a little bit of an echo, so sorry. Hold on. You're gonna have to have an echo until I play it. So you're still on the screen, but you're just hidden, kind of a thing.
It's a secret, but it's an open secret.
Yeah. But just so we can play this. Let's see. Got to pull it up. Hilarious, though. I do think I may start forcing ads on you guys, like just looking up ads and making you watch them in the middle of my streams, just so that you have to donate to my Ko-Fi if you want that to go away. All right, here we go. Want to give any lead into this, Tayo?
Nah, I think you'll get it.
All right.
Are you willing to trade talk with a stranger? Give a seer or a singer, poet or prophet a greeting, a welcome with wise words. Question the far traveler about creation, its natural power, its bodying forth into everyday wonder through God's grace, its life-quickening capacity and clout, its marvelous moving among men. Each waking wonder is a telling token to the man who understands the wide world, holds a map in his mind, comprehending the shape of creation, and contemplating the past, knowing that long ago warriors and poets could weave truth in proverbs and prophecies, their measure of melodies, the warp and weft of song, so that through their repeating, rehearsing, revising, men might remember this web of mysteries, God's gift of world wonders, of life's rich riddles, of the deep down shaping, sustaining spirit, So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the seminal secrets of creation, unlock his word hoard, inscribe for the world's understanding the art and craft of narration. Are you willing to trade talk with a stranger, give a seer or a singer, poet or prophet, a greeting, a welcome with wise words? Question the far traveler about creation, its natural power, its bodying forth into everyday wonder through God's grace, its life-quickening capacity and clout, its marvelous moving among men. Each waking wonder is a telling token to the man who understands the wide world, holds a map in his mind, comprehending the shape of creation, and contemplating the past, knowing that long ago warriors and poets could weave truth in proverbs and prophecies, their measure of melodies, the warp and weft of song, so that through their repeating, rehearsing, revising, men might remember this web of mysteries, God's gift of world wonders, of life's rich riddles, of the deep down shaping, sustaining spirit. So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the seminal secrets of creation, unlock his word hoard, inscribe for the world's understanding the art and craft of narration. Are you willing to trade talk with a stranger, give a seer or a
All
singer,
right,
poet
now
or
for the
prophet,
next
a
one.
greeting, a welcome with wise words? So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the seminal secrets of creation, unlock his word hoard, inscribe for the world's understanding the art and craft of narration. The treasure of a good story, the gift of signifying song. A wise man never grows weary of watching wonders, of contemplating this grand creation, of acting wholly and wisely in the world. So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the
Well, that was very interesting.
Isn't it? Yeah, I think I can now give a bit of backdrop to it. She's a professor of history. She's teaching Anglo-Saxon history, and this is the oldest writing from the Anglo-Saxon period. And she read the first paragraph of it. The entire video is basically a way saying that there is basically no England. It's if you try to go back through history through the writings that's available, all you find is Christianity, not really a retelling of great battles between the king of Northumbria versus the king of Kent. It's all just stories about David and Christ.
Surprise, surprise. The true history of England is hidden with Christ in the Holy of Holies with God. Very interesting.
Yeah, she made the point of the Petersonian point of the church was in charge of all of the writing. So before then, the people that write are the people that were part of, well, writing to the church or for the king on behalf to go to the church. And pre-pagan history isn't written down because they weren't writing it down. And I should have said a good saying, if it's not written down, it's not history, it's archaeology.
Dang. That's the most British thing I've ever heard, too. That sounds like somebody came up with that at a pub, for sure. If it's not written down, it's archaeology, not history. Very interesting.
Yeah, someone from Oxford for sure.
What? Okay. This is a little bit of a... So I'm not familiar with Purim, or Purim, or however you say it. I am familiar with the story of Esther. I'm not it's not been like one of my keystone stories. I do often think of Perhaps You Were Born for Such a Time as This. There's also obviously weird shadow matriarchy female hero's journey, and some kind of adult themes, shall we say, which is interesting for most of the stories in the Bibles kind of have this like more adult side of them, or this kind of like secret side that's like a little hardcore, or kind of Like I've always thought that like most stories in the Bibles you could tell as like a thriller, with like this and really place emphasis on the kind of anxiety it would evoke to actually be in that position, right? Like there's no story in the Bible of somebody whose life is just kind of like they figured everything out and nothing ever went wrong and the rest of their life was just pretty chill and awesome. There's
Not
like
the Son of God.
Do what?
Oh, not even the Son of God got that treatment.
Yeah. Nobody. And therefore the like ideal life is maybe pointed to in Scripture, but it's never like it's interesting that there's just no place in Scripture where you could go to that would give you exact answer. Like it really is not basic instructions before leaving Earth. You know, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. Like it's not basic. And to the extent that it's instruction, it's very difficult instructions to follow. But that's what also makes it wonderful. Why was I bringing that up? Oh yeah. I guess I didn't fully let sink in what those ladies were talking about.
It takes a while. That's why I had to make a clip of it, because I needed to listen to it more than 5 times at least. And I think it can be broken down into chunks, which is why I thought it would make for a good clip. See which part of it stands out to you.
Well, we've got some comments. It's not about the life. It's about the existential stance, how you relate to life. Yeah, there's something to that. Yeah, I mean, a model of standing, a model of relating. No place in Scripture on what to do. Yeah. Except, tents to temples, perhaps. There's plenty of commands on what to do. But the commands don't. I think, the point I'm trying to make is that the commands don't relieve you from the difficulties of following them, right? Like, there's a sense in which, like, if you just follow the law, you're good. Just perfectly follow the law and don't make any mistakes, and you're good. And well, that seems to be impossible. At least in this moment, right? So we can believe for the possibility of perfection. But yeah, maybe my Calvinism is just coming out or something. But then yes, back to the ladies. I guess.
Can we do a lyric breakdown of what they're saying? Pause in.
Yeah. Let's listen to it once more. Here. Whoop.
Prophet, a greeting, a welcome with wise words. Question the far traveler about creation, its natural power, its bodying forth into everyday wonder through God's grace, its life-quickening capacity and clout, its marvelous moving among men. Each waking wonder is a telling token to the man who understands the wide world,
holds a map in his mind, comprehending the shape of creation,
and contemplating the past, knowing that long ago warriors and poets could weave truth in proverbs and prophecies, their measure of melodies, the mark of the so that through their repeating, rehearsing, revising, men might remember this web of mysteries, God's gift of world wonders, of life's rich riddles, of the deep down shaping, sustaining spirit. So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the seminal secrets of creation, unlock his word hoard, inscribe for the world's understanding the art and craft of narration. Are you willing to trade talk with a stranger? Give a seer or a singer, poet or prophet a greeting, a welcome with wise words. Question the far traveler about creation, its natural power, its bodying forth into everyday wonder through God's grace. Its life-quickening capacity and clout, its marvelous moving among men. Each waking wonder is a telling token to the man who understands the wide world, holds a map in his mind comprehending the shape of creation, contemplating the past, knowing that long ago warriors and poets could weave truth in proverbs and prophecies, their measure of melodies, the warp and weft of song, so that through their repeating, rehearsing, revising, men might remember this web of mysteries, God's gift of world wonders, of life's rich riddles, of the deep down shaping, sustaining spirit. So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the seminal secrets of creation, unlock his word hoard, inscribe for the world's understanding the art and craft of narration. Are you willing to trade talk with...
Interesting. Okay. So it starts out. So this is really a love letter to autodidact smarty pants people, and it's a call to action and a call to arms to bring to bear the best thinking and words that you can muster towards the gift of God, which is the seemingly infinite in quantity, if not also quality, of the mysteries, the infinite mysteries given to us as a grace by God to ponder over, to puzzle over, to relate to each other when relating to the problem over. And then it ends, though, on kind of issuing this challenge to the wise and the learned, he who can speak with the poet and the philosopher and the theologian and all of these smarty pants, the best of the best, the smarty pants. But to turn his eye towards narration. And so it ends with this story, the idea of that one should turn his eye towards narration to master a type of dialogue, conversation, dialectic with the great thinkers and feelers and
wasn't just
livers.
Because I think well, you're adding to what I got from it. The echo is still there, by the way.
Do what?
The echo is still there.
No way, Jose. No way. Hold on. Maybe now? Is it gone?
Mic check 1 2. Yeah, we're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you about it being sort of a love letter to autodidact, which is why I thought this feels very TLC appropriate. But I think first, I like the way it starts. Have you ever traded talk with a stranger? That to me just screams BVK's, Randall's, and TLC's ethos in general. But then what precedes that is him talking about what do you talk to the stranger about? And the first thing is creation. Just marvel at creation with a stranger. Get their perspective on this beautiful creation that exists that they've been a part of, and see what they've asked them where they've been, and then it's not just Marty. I think it was prophets, poets, and there was another one. I don't remember all of them, but it was interesting to me how all this different and warriors might have been. Is a way are the things, the tools it asks you, the arts of narration. Those are the weaving all of this together is what it calls the art of narration, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah, that the weave ends in narration. I mean, what do you make of that? Is it just the that person, that like story? Sorry, go.
Yeah, it feels to me like a love letter to a good conversation with a stranger, and I think the stranger part is important because this is that that's why there's an excitement about what you can find out from the narration that they give, and then that will help you to learn how to tell stories from that you've seen from. Yeah, you can learn from. I was trying to tell you their story, how to tell your story better. It's sort of just, and I don't remember the ending. The second clip is the ending of the paragraph.
Should we watch more of that video?
We can't. I genuinely fell in love with this woman. The same way I fell in love with Sherry when she was reading poems on Saturdays, and I was like, "Who is this mystical being on my screen right now?" Yeah, she's. It's a long video. I don't know if we're gonna get the gist, and it's very Anglo-Saxon nerdy history.
Well, Ron asks, just got done with the church. What are we talking about?
Have you ever tried to talk with a stranger, Ron? Actually,
Yeah.
I know I have.
Yeah, have you ever? Yeah, Ron is definitely. Me and Ron had a great conversation this week with, actually, I'm gonna keep it a secret what me and old Ron talked about. I'm gonna keep that between me and old Ronnie boy, old Ron Copperman.
Fine, keep your secrets.
All right. Well, we've got a fork in the road then, because we could keep.
Real quick. Also, I did not realize that Grim Greasy and Benjamin Boyce had a conversation. Is that recent? Or is that an old video?
Yeah, that's like yesterday or a day before.
Yeah, my algorithm is basically off TLC. It feels like I get the poll videos and nothing else.
Wow. Wow. You've abandoned us. You've abandoned us. Incredible.
Was that a conversation on Grizz's channel or Benjamin Boyce's?
No, it was on Benjamin Boyce's channel. Our boy hit the big time.
Oh, Grizz has gone mainstream.
He's sold out. He's gone mainstream. We got folks joining the Grim Grizz live stream. They wouldn't recognize a magic missile if it slapped him in the face. We got noobs, folks. We got noobs. They need as much branding as we could possibly give them. They need a double dose. If you're here, go ahead.
That's a very interesting move by Benjamin.
Yeah, well, we'll have to talk about it. I mean, the thing is that patterns are developing.
That all sounds well and good, but really, how do I get there? Okay, you said this whole beautiful thing, and I know many of you, especially out there on the YouTube channel, are going to say, I have problems believing this stuff. Yeah, I get it. The thing is, a lot of people who say, I have problems believing this stuff, think that the way to answer those problems is by theory. And generally speaking, no. You just don't work that way. You don't ride a bike. You don't learn to ride a bike by theory. You don't learn to swim by theory. You can watch a lot of videos about swimming, but I promise you will not learn to swim without getting in water.
See, like when you guys make the premiere of the branding, I can see it being 2.5 minutes, but normally I need like a minute or 30-second size clips. So, do your fancy premiere, but then also give me the
We're back. So yeah, Grimm's gone mainstream. Very interesting choice by Benjamin Boyce. And he said at the beginning that apparently some folks behind the scenes had been beating on his door saying, you got to check out this Grim Griscat. You got to check out this General Griswold Grimm of the 4th LARP Gate Impression Protocol.
Some folks from his corner, some folks from our corner.
Say that one more time. Somebody from his corner, what?
Is it the people that are pushing them to say, go talk to Grizz, are they people from the Benjamin Boys verse that know of Grizz, or are they people from TLC?
Who knows? Who knows? It might just be Christian Baxter for all we know.
Yes. C-Bax is, a good bridge between the two. I see it.
It might just be that.
But C-Bax wasn't on Benjamin Boyce's channel. And this is like a feature.
Benjamin Boyce was on C-Bax, but Grimm was on Benjamin Boyce.
Exactly, that's different. Getting a feature on a Kendrick album is different to Kendrick giving you a verse.
I imagine, too, though, that this could have happened because Bethel was playing a prank on Benjamin for not being conservative enough.
That would be Troll of the Month worthy from Bethel if that's true.
Yeah, I kind of hope. I don't know Bethel very, very well at all. I know that she is like controversial or whatever for some folks, but it is funny. People don't know whether to say Bethel or Bethel. Seems like she says Bethel.
Yeah, I think it's Bethel. Well, that's how Paul introduced her to me.
Yeah, well, somebody fact check that for us. See if you can find her introducing herself. But yeah, I'm just thinking about her and C-Bax and maybe Ups. They're all at dinner. They're like, yes, they're conspiring, and they say, let's convince Benjamin Boyce to have on the General.
I might start paying more attention to Benjamin Boyce now.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to draw your attention back to the TLC sphere.
It's still there. It's just mainly focused on Chris Howard.
Honestly, me too. Chris Howard is the best channel in the whole TLC right now. He's goated. He's the king. Talk about a chill stream. Chris Howard has the chillest streams. Like legitimately. My chill is all fake. It's all simulacra. It's all postmodern and irony dripping. If you want actual relaxation and someone who's not neurotic pretending to be chill, go to the Chris Howard show.
We love chill on there. Chris Howard lives it.
Yeah, he lives it. He lives it. What a life, too. Just a very interesting feller. And wise, too. Wise. Hey, Ups is here. Howdy, Ups. I just mentioned you. I think, can you confirm or deny that you and Bethel and C-Bax conspired to get the General onto Benjamin Boyce's channel? Can you give us any? Can you say yes? It's okay if you can't. You can neither confirm nor deny.
To be fair, I was at this dinner night. Not Chris Howard, Ups, C-Bax, and who's the guy that's got a book out? The one that came into TLC and everyone was like, we think you're a grifter.
Rick Walker.
Rick Walker.
Rick Walker.
The Rick Walker, Ups, and C-Bax were conspiring across the table from us. So maybe that's what they were cooking up.
Ooh, I had discounted Rick Walker's pull and his acumen in these regards. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows who got into little Benjamin Boyce's ear? Another possibility. This has become a real whodunit. This has really become a whodunit because
detectives on the job. Let's fix it.
What if it was Jordan Hall? What if Jordan Hall was like, Benjamin, you got to have. There's something going on here. You need to take a look at.
Nah, I'm not buying it. Jordan's too. Yeah, I don't even know if Jordan understands what a Grim Grizz is.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, by that same logic, that means John Vervaeke's also out. You know, I doubt that John Vervaeke's spreading the good word of V&A out there.
Well, Viveki did have a fringe encounter with the general. So.
He did. And all right, here's a conspiracy for you. You know our Hotep friend in the comments, the one whose name always changes.
I see where you're going.
What if that is Benjamin Voice?
Oh, wait. I don't know yet.
What if he's been stress testing? You know, he's had conversations with the people who pulled off the hoax, you know, and he thinks to himself, you know, in my off time, maybe I'll stress test this little corner of the internet for their wokeness. I can do this because I went to Evergreen, and I will do that. You know, maybe that. What do we think about that?
It will require Benjamin to be a lot more aggressive than it comes across in his videos, but that's a good trick because text person is different to video person. So
It's the perfect crime.
See it.
It's the perfect crime. One, because it's not a crime. It's just free speech. But then secondly, we never would have guessed. One thing that I've been trying to think about recently, this is kind of just a complete, different subject or whatever. But I've been trying to wrap my mind around the like structure of a really good mystery book or story, like a mystery story, basically. Like, what's the story structure of a mystery? And in some ways, it's like Scooby-Doo is the like, I guess, and maybe this connects back to what the like talking to a stranger thing. But like in Scooby-Doo, right, you have there's like a very strict structure to Scooby-Doo, basically. Like the gang arrives to some spooky place. There's something spooky going on. They get asked to investigate the spookiness to solve the problem. So the spookiness is a problem for some reason, other than just being spooky. Usually it's like, no tourists will come to the ski resort with this abominable snowman running around. And so, you know, Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and the gang, they then start their investigation, and they basically think that it's one person, and then they elaborately set up a trap to catch the person they think is the villain, only to, in the very process of figuring out who the villain, they basically realized that they were off, that they were wrong, that their first inclination was completely wrong, unless, well, basically we'll get back to that. But so there's basically this twist, right? Like their first attempt, they're always wrong, and then their second attempt, something unexpected happens, and you know they get separated, or they have to come up with like some sort of like way to trap the monster, and then you know hijinks ensue. And then they ultimately catch the monster, and then they pull off the thing, and either they're right or they're wrong. And then so you know, wait for shock, come back, and then the villain says, "And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you mangy mutt and these teenagers," you know. And so that's basically the structure of Scooby-Doo. But the thing is, when you are in participation with a real mystery, you can be a part of that story, and you can even know about that story, but it really does not remove the kind of anxiety in what the mystery, what like dark truths the mystery may portend. Is any of that making sense?
I was following you. I don't know where you landed, but I was following you on the journey.
Well, yeah, I mean, my question that I've been trying to figure out is like basically what makes a good mystery, because in my head the structure is basically like what I pointed out with Scooby-Doo, and that's not like that doesn't seem It's not obvious to me why that would be satisfying.
I think what I was thinking of is that there has to be progress. So even if you're not actually getting closer to solving the mystery, you have to feel like you're making a progress and getting closer to the mystery. And ultimately, it's the journey that you're there for. And also another thing I thought of, because I thought you were going to point to the fact that often the person it ends up being is a suspect they already said, someone that was a potential suspect that they already took off the list, taking it off Scooby-Doo, because I'm thinking now more of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, the British Scooby-Doo, some have said.
No, Americans, baby.
Sherlock Holmes, that's that like, he's like the British Scooby-Doo. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess Watson would be Shaggy in that case. But yeah, so
it wasn't me.
Oh gosh, I annoy my girl so much by saying that whenever, but she wants me to say pardon me, and I'm just going to Shaggy. It wasn't me. Anyway, got sidetracked. But what was I gonna? Oh yeah, the fact that the truth, the mystery is one of in a mystery story. Anyway, you have the author has to include the solution to the mystery in before it's revealed. Like, so it has to be there, but like it's a secret, but it's an open secret. That's what makes for a good mystery is if you get to the end and it's like, oh no, that's some bullshit. That doesn't follow the world you've built, because you've broken your own world to try to get a gotcha on the audience. That doesn't work. But if it's already embedded from the beginning and then rewatching it, you're like, oh, so that's what it was. That's why there's this and that.
Yeah. I mean, you're just making me think about conversations I've had with my wife about this, because in some sense, like I absolutely agree, like with everything you just said, but for some reason, to me, that still doesn't like what I'm questioning is not only like what the structure is and what it does, but like it's weird to me that it works so reliably, right? That like the same structure can produce the same feeling of aporia, of mystery, like that it's like this repetition, but it's this repetition of unknowing, right?
But what is it about this particular repetition? Because the same could be true for, a romance story or a romantic movie. It's got the same plot. There's the meet cute, there's the we're together, there's the oh no, we have to break up, there's the running at the airport. So it's a lot of story do you have that, but what is it about the mystery one that's got your ears perked up?
Well, I think because some of my favorite movies have that structure, but also I've thought about this before, but I just brought it up because we were trying to figure out how Benjamin Boyce, like the mystery of the
right. Oh yeah. I forgot where we
we were the LARP became real because I was thinking of like the mystery structure.
LARP hard. Grief startup.
That's right. You heard Tayo. LARP hard, but grift harder. Folks, find the Ko-Fi link. I'm trying to go to Midwestuary. Tayo's already going. He got grifted there. He got grifted there by Neil. Neil came to me with a similar proposition, and I said, no thanks, partner. I'll grift for myself. Thank you very much. Why? Because of the general.
LARP. We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard.
Grift harder, grift harder. Grift harder, grift harder. Grift harder, grift harder.
LARP. We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard.
Grift harder, grift harder.
a McMo one, I think. I believe that was a McMo masterpiece. I think that was his stylistic impression, signature thereof. Okay.
Okay. We're back. So yeah, I mean, but I kind of always been a fan of mystery, you know, like that's like one of the more compelling story arcs to me. Like me and my wife went through a big phase early in our marriage where we just watched like Law and Order every night. And it becomes, and my wife's basic opinion is that the structure works because it basically, it's like another thing that you just suspend your disbelief on, but it allows you to kind of investigate some of the things that maybe are below the surface, like the interpersonal relationships, the kind of more human psychological things, the kind of all of the valuable things about stories that aren't captured in Joseph Campbell's hero's journey type of thing. Like the actual reason why we go to art and narrative rather than like, because this is all circling back to the ladies, right? Because it's interesting that they would point to narrative, but when they're doing that, I don't think that they're they're coming to it with the type of ignorance or cynicism that I'm kind of talking through, in the sense that, okay, so what about narrative other than the like story structure? Why is narrative compelling even when we know that narrative is compelling? Because there's a lot of things in life that don't kind of pass that magic trick test, right? Like this is the whole idea behind, like, once you see how the sausage is made. But it seems like narrative in some way is still, especially because it has to do with like the individual. When you listen to someone who's a real person talk about their real life, that there's a compelling nature about that, regardless of the kind of hero's journey, archetypal patterns that you may have in your head. And I know for some people, when they listen to a story and they hear that kind of like hero's journey form to it, that they will like that's like that's what makes it a good story. But then I also know that there's folks who, what makes it a good story is more kind of just visceral, and it has to do with like its pacing and kind of some of the craft of storytelling. Like it has to do with how the story is told. And then there's like, so yeah, I guess I'm just kind of rambling now about all of the ways in which like I'm considering what a turn towards narrative may mean in regards, in the light of the fact that some of this is very map territory, you could say.
I think I don't disagree with anything you were saying there. I also don't. The video I sent, the clip I sent, they weren't talking about narrative. That was just a clip I took from it. They were more talking about, well, actually, what they were talking about history, which is just a narrative, pretty much. But as far as what you're saying, I think that's true. But I don't think just because there is, you can't ever capture what it is that makes a story compelling to an individual and write it down in a book and teach it the way, the hero's journey and Joseph Campbell sort of thing is sometimes taken as. But at the same time, I think part of the beauty of the story is that you can derive these patterns from stories, such that the one like the hero's journey, but that's not the only one. Justin Wells he's going down a deep rabbit hole about stories, and if you follow him on Twitter, he'll tweet this essays about different things about storytelling that makes it compelling.
Yeah, I usually just bookmark those.
Same.
Because usually a couple times a quarter, we'll say, once every 2.5 to 1.5 months. I'll just get the itch, and I want to think narrativistically, story like. I want to let my imagination, think through a story.
I do think you're asking a really, really important question about if there is a turn towards narrative, what does that look like? Because it's not just teach someone how to tell a story about Act One, Act Two, and Act Three that makes it compelling. But I do think what it allows for is what you were hinting at, which is testimony. You get to get people's testimony, not necessarily how I came to Christ, but how I came to be where I am now. That's a story that everyone has access to that they can tell, given that they're not.
Yeah, but I mean that raises an interesting point for me, which is and it has to do with the advertising, because there's also like Donald Miller, the guy who made Blue Like Jazz.
No, but I've heard that come up 50.
Yeah, so he's a emergent church guy, Rob Bell kind of guy, like a lot of evangelicals as they are, like step one to deconstruction
By
is
the way,
reading something from Donald Miller.
Quick sidetrack. I miss Luke Thompson. Hope you're having a great Lent, my friend. You
Yeah,
said Rob
yeah.
Bell, and I love Luke Thompson.
He's holding it down, dude. The first week he had a hard time. Like he was sending me like stream length audio messages on a Signal app, and I was like, "Hey, man, I don't want to stick my nose into what's not my business."
Whoa! Hold on a minute. Was that a reveal? Did you just out yourself as part of this Illuminati on the Signal app?
No, I'm a part of a couple of group texts on different apps, and I like to keep my sources safe. You freaking Fed, Taya. No, he was sending them directly to me though, because he has my number because I, he asked for it basically.
Friends.
I should re-download WhatsApp just so we can chat, Taya. You know what? If I don't do that before the next time I live stream, remind me and I will. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I don't know to what I think Lent is going well for him. He ended up giving a lot of stuff. Giving up a lot of stuff. He wouldn't really give me the specifics, which is probably good because I would have probably just blabbed him out here, and then just to make him look good. But yeah, at first he was struggling with the whole not stream thing because he definitely was sending me these long voice messages, and I'm like, bro, this is kind of dangerously close to streaming. If you're just like
streaming to an audience of one.
Yeah, like this is kind of the same thing. Like not real. So I gave him a little, razzmatazz.
Jason, that's a great idea, McMull. If you're gonna grift out and do it properly, there's an idea for you. Pay to play WhatsApp group.
Ooh, that is a great idea. Okay, I think. Well, I have a goal on my Ko-Fi right now, and it's basically plane tickets for Midwestuary. So if we get it going, then maybe I can slide some of those funds over somewhere else, but the longer we wait on getting these plane tickets, the less likely it is that my wife will come. And so then if my wife doesn't come, then I will end up having to come alone, and I'll be a much more sad boy, and I'll need more alone time, and I'll just kind of not want to really engage as much. So if you really want the most of McMo at the Midwestuary,
not to teach you how to do the grifting, because there is none better. But I do think you need to get McMo to Midwestuary stream.
Yeah, I probably will end up having to do a like a devoted stream to it.
And on that stream, I will purchase my Midwestuary tickets.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. You'll purchase them on the screen. But yeah, honestly, before that though, I should just get like a WhatsApp, or our dear friend Lance. He was like, "Why don't you have a Discord?" And so maybe I should have a Discord, and the way you get on the Discord is becoming a member.
Do it.
Hey, there he is, the General. Hey, you want to come on and give us your post Benjamin Boyce bump feelings, or can you at least can you commit right now, General, to a Sunday service once I'm done here. Can we get that type of commitment from you, brother? In the meantime, I should probably bounce this this beat I've been working on for the whole time.
I've missed most of the stream, so I only caught a few seconds of the beat, so this would be surprising for me.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, it'll have some of the stuff from what you sent to us, and then it'll have some other stuff from earlier. But looks like the general's already set up to go, which is perfect timing. So maybe we'll do some final thoughts, Tayo, and as I bounce this, and then I'll probably just do some McMo radio. And what that means for anyone here who's new is that I'll just play some of the beats from back in the day. And
if you're listening to the McMo radio, you think these are some banging beats. I would like to access them. McMo, how does one come by these beats?
It's a great question. It's a great question. Once you become a member of the Tears for Fears tier on my Ko-Fi, then you get access to a Google Drive folder with all of the beats. And I try to update that whenever I think about it.
All of them, not just a couple of them.
No, every single beat that I've made on a live stream in the history of the McMo chill streams.
Golly, what a deal, folks. What a
is
deal.
In that Google Drive for you to just listen to whenever you want. Grim sometimes uses them for branding. Has in the past. The ever increasing in fame Midwestuary ad. If you want to hear that song in the background without Neil talking about it, well, folks, the easiest way to do that, join my Ko-Fi membership. You'll get access to that Google Drive. You can download, listen to it at your leisure. And I'll say, they're not all the best beat you ever heard in the world. I'm not claiming to be, I'm no Akira the Don, we'll say. Then again, well, no, I'm not. I'm no Akira the Don. I'm not
no,
even gonna.
No, don't walk it back. Stand on it. Call him out. Akira the Don, you pussy-o.
Akira the Don is to meaning wave as Elvis is to rock and roll. And that's what I'll say. And I'll let the folks who know understand what I'm saying.
He stole it from the blacks.
I'm saying he stole it from the underground. He stole it from folks who were actually doing the stealing. And he somehow got to Papa Peterson okay. Although, you know what? I have heard other songs on Spotify that have sampled some of the intellectual dark web. And I don't know how much I want to talk about that. Uh-oh. We've got a guest.
Dun, dun, dun.
We got two, Master Paul, Paulie Paul,
Freddie
and Freddie
G.
G. Freddie
PVK,
G.
Freddie G.
From the
Good.
6AC.
So I'll be tuning in, man. It's going to be coming on and cracking like popcorn.
Are we coming live from the Freddie and Paul show as we speak?
No, it's before church, sir.
It's still before church.
So it's just the history, post-history live stream.
Got Paul on my side, rolling in his yellow ride, and he don't hide, but he's like Pete Rose and Ricky Henderson on the microphone because we like Jesus, and this is true. Paying attention is what you must do. Hardcore, because I can never be stalled. And when I'm on the mic, I always go off. All right.
Tayo likes it. I had to show Freddie. I had to hook this up on his phone and get it all going so Freddie could join in later. So
I see.
All
See. Well, Freddie's always welcome. We could get some freestyles going. That would be great.
Hey,
all right, great.
That'll work, man.
Great to see you, McMo.
Thank you, McMo.
All right. Have a good service. See y'all.
Have a good day. See y'all.
That
wow.
was to end it. Yeah.
What a treat. What a treat. Only on the McMo streams do you get the type of variety, the type of salt water, the type of fresh water. That was post estuary. PVK making appearances before estuary and after estuary. We sandwiched estuary for my man. Incredible.
Oh, before we do go, McCall, let's talk a little bit more about your Discord idea. I think it's a good idea. I think you should do it.
A little bit of a backup for when folks get banned from the Broken Clock Tower, inevitably.
Absolutely. We need a fringe to the fringe of the fringe.
Yeah. The fractal fringe of the fringe of the fractal fringe fractal.
But also mainly just for the a music corner of there. A music disco.
I see. Well, Grail Country has Grail tunes. If you haven't been to Grail tunes, I highly recommend checking out the Grail Country Discord with the Grail tunes. Sherry probably posts the most Grail tunes, and I would love for anybody to guess the type of music that Sherry likes if they don't know. And the chances of you getting it right, I think, would probably be 0. But speaking of music, have you listened to Good Credit?
Yes, I have. And what was it? Mojo?
Jojo.
Yeah, yes, I have. And I'm mad that Kendrick made me listen to Playboy Carti.
You don't like Playboy Carti?
I don't get Playboy Carti. Similarly
to
when my older cousins did not understand Young Thug, but I like them. I think that's what Playboy Carti is to me. I just don't get it.
I can get into the mode where I like it and I get it. But there is a sense of just like, yeah, that having that kind of young vitality, that kind of it's whenever someone says like it's just I don't get it, like to me I'm like, go with God, brother, because that's like a very honest and great thing to do. I found that with most of the Playboy Carti songs, if I listen to them like 3 or 4 times, I start to understand it. But that's a level of like commitment that I have to like wanting to stay up to date and appreciating what folks seem to be valuing, at least as it goes for music. Like that's a pretty like hardcore route, I must admit.
Yeah, I did like I like the Travis Scott feature more than I like the Kendrick feature.
I didn't even listen to any of the other features because I was already like, well, I listened to the other Kendrick features. I'm trying to think. Did I listen to any of the other stuff? No, I don't think I did. So I'll have to check out the Travis Scott one. But
what did you think of the Kendrick? Well, for me, I think it's another stamp of Kendrick being that there's no big three, it's just Big M, because Playboy Carti is the king for the youth. Like he's neither Kendrick nor Drake has the youth the way Playboy Carti does, and that's sort of the YGs.
Yeah, the YNs.
Exactly. You said it, brother. But you said it. But no, for real. And that role used to be reserved for Kanye. Kanye was like the one that would get the random feature from the young king, and Drake also had that as well. So I could have imagined pre beef those would have been Drake features, not Kendrick features.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, what I don't necessarily get all the way is why other people like Playboy Carti, but like I myself can personally get into the mode of like understanding that music. But like I said, it takes like 4 or 5 listens, which who has that kind of time?
Yeah, to be fair, I put that sort of time in for years, so I'm not mad at the Playboy Carti fans. Once you understand and you've listened enough to understand what it is that's good about it, the creativity behind it, I get it.
There's also just the idea of like, I think that most music today has to be able to exist also as background music or as like it has to participate in content in some way. And so like when you look at something like Fiend, its connection to like Fortnite is, like how many TikToks or short form content do you see with like that kind of thing, right? And so I sometimes even wonder like what does it mean for Gen Z Gen Z quote unquote to like a certain artist. I'm not sure it means the same thing as when millennials like a certain artist or when Gen X likes a certain artist, right? Like there seems to be, I don't know, maybe I'm sounding like so boomer and
Yes,
just
yes,
like
yes,
old
you
as
are.
hell.
You,
Maybe we
yes,
both are,
we are.
but
Yes,
like
we are. Yes, we are.
it's interesting to me that like it's not only that there's like different tastes, but there's also just like different mediums and like music is being used in a different way. It's not the same as like the blog era, for instance, right? Like we are in the short form content era. And so and also I wonder to what extent like video games are playing a role, because I have heard more Playboy Cardi like in the background of some dude just like streaming like Fortnite or, Among Us or something than I have on the radio, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. But just to prove that we're both being boomers, this is a list of that I got from my little brother who's turning 14 this year, of what he's currently listening to. Uh, Graduation, late registration, domestic education, GNX, Good Kid, The Carter 3, Chromacopia, Call Me If You Get Lost, Igor and Flower Boy, Cherubim, and Because the Internet.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's just like when we were young, we didn't want to be kept in a box. We were like trying to, yeah, I'll listen to all the things, and they're also doing
That's
that.
a great list. That's a great list.
Isn't it? I'm so proud. I've raised a good one.
Yeah, well done, sir. Well done. Yeah, those are all like, oh man. Yeah, can you imagine listening to some of that stuff for the first time?
For the first time, that's what. Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that insane?
I love getting phone calls from after he's listening to an album like, "Yo, Toy, have you heard this?" Like,
What was what's your kind of go-to album to I don't know the answer to this, but like the idea of like a teenager, like like a niece or a nephew basically comes up to you, or for different people it'll be a different family member or whatever, but like they come to you and they're like, what I'm trying to get into music and I want to listen to some albums. What album should I listen to? And of course the actual answer is like them, and you have to like maybe give a personal recommendation. But I'm trying to think of some of the things that might come to mind just in general, like what's an album I would recommend for like someone who's trying to basically listen to the best albums of all time. It's basically another route around getting to like your top 5 albums or whatever.
and that's as you know, it's the most annoying question if you love music even a little bit.
But it's fun to get around it in certain ways, right? So
yeah, I think so. For my little brother, I can give you an answer for her. He was very much into the music he used to send me, which is video game music, and some of them were really.
He might like McMosev.
He got me into like video game, more electronic sounding music, and then he discovered Tyler the Creator, and it was like, oh, this is my guy. So I was able to say, okay, well, he found the one before Chromatopia. He loved Ego. So I was like, okay, you might be ready for Jesus if you
Uh-oh.
if you like Ego, but he wasn't. He didn't like it. Which was I was like, all right, let's go back in Kanye's discography. And we went to late registration, which he loves. He's still on his list, and then he will just go from there and come back with me. Oh, I listen to this, and then I listen to this, and I'm like, oh, listen to that, so listen to this, listen to that. Sort of how it goes. But for me, Miseducation was one of them. That was one of the ones.
Wow, really?
For a teenager, I'm like, yeah, listen to it. Just the band is as important to the album as Lauryn Hill is, and if it'll give you an appreciation for music. If you're just like a avid radio listener, you'd be like, oh, where did that trumpet come from? It's the vocals, all of that. So yeah, that's one of them for me.
Yeah, yeah. For some reason, you talking about like that for that album for me when I was a teenager was probably Lupe Fiasco. A couple of his albums I just listened to so many times, and I
Which
felt like
one?
Food and Liquor and
The Cool.
Yeah, The Cool. Yep, and The Cool. Yep. Very formative. I'm thinking honestly, this actually might be one of my answers for both just like best albums of all time, but also one I would recommend to a teenager. The Breaks, or not The Breaks. Oh gosh, who was Ruslan a part of? Was Ruslan?
Ruslan, not John Gibbs.
Yeah, John Gibbs, Ruslan, and
the one
Belief.
that's Belief, who's now a YouTuber making
Yeah, YouTube fame.
Yeah. Oh, that was it? Wasn't the Collective. That was the Lamphoned one.
What? Yeah, what were they called?
Oh gosh.
I'll look it up. Hold on. Was it not The Breaks? I Got the Juice.
I got the juice.
We'll get there. It was Ruslan's like
Dream Junkies.
That's what it was. Dream Junkies. Yeah. If you guys haven't listened to Dream Junkies, this was what my only beef, not my only beef. I'm sure we'd have small quibbles about a lot of things, but this song, I Got the Juice by Dream Junkies, and that whole album is so, I have such a soft spot for that whole album. I think it's probably, bro, there's no cussing, so you can play this in front of your kids, and it's so cool, and it's so laid back, and it's so West Coast, and it's so unapologetic, and it's so Christian, and it's just like, it's just so fun and cool. And Ruslan, God love him, gave up all of that to be a YouTuber with crazy thumbnails. He said, "What?"
Oh, yeah.
Why did he give up rap?
Those were good. I don't think I think it still drops singles now and then, but gotta sell those merch.
So I mean, same with Belief. Belief is now big on YouTube. Ruslan's big on YouTube. John Gibbs, who was probably my favorite Christian rapper when I was in church, besides Propaganda, maybe, but maybe not. He was up there. Oh,
Prop was number one for me.
We got Mark S. What's up, Mark? I don't know how long you've been there. Sorry if I didn't notice you.
Good afternoon.
What's on your mind, sir? You come join us?
Oh, just kind of tuned in about 10 minutes ago. I'm hearing you just talk about your.
Oh, you're roboting for me.
Yeah, same here. Coming through a little bit.
Oh, hear me a little better?
It was, but it's still a little bit robotic. But yeah, that was a little better.
I don't want to bring that sound to your show here. I'm not sounding good. I'm just going to get out of here.
You're not sounding great, buddy.
Yeah, it might need to. We might have to take a rain check. Because I
can't
did
hear me at all.
Yeah. Hey, you're back.
Okay, if I sound too bad, just let me know.
Oh man.
Nearly,
Every time you try to talk, it devolves and gets worse. We lost him.
Well, that still counts as a Marquez appearance.
Yep. Still counts.
Yes, indeed. We are talking about Ruslan KD. Before it was a YouTuber, it was part of one of the most innovative groups in CHH.
Yep. That might be my favorite CHH album.
Oh, whoa. I think Propaganda might have like 3 out of my top 5 favorite CHH albums.
That's true. I mean, I tend to like his
extras. Those beats on that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I mean, I still think that though, as an album, that that album by Dream Junkies was, it's at least in the top 3.
And that came out of Sweet Point where there was Dream Junkies, John Gibbs and them, and then there was
Lamp
John
Mode,
was
116. There was
John-
so many, like, not just like artists, but like crews with labels.
He's the one that's gay now. He's got my favorite album in TLC.
Oh,
gosh, it's not John Gibbs, but it's close. Jay Givens.
Jay Givens, and they're related too.
Yeah, Jay Givens as my favorite album.
Yeah, that album slapped, dude. That was a great album.
That's an album I still go back to at least every few months. It just, yeah.
Most of the stuff that came from Humble Beast, like Humble Beast, I think might be the best label.
Up there. Yeah, I think as far as Citrus is concerned, Lamp Mode is a close second because Lamp Mode did a lot of, yeah, and they had the free.
I was a big Jason fan.
Jason. I remember an album he had was just yellow. No, not there is nothing good. No, not what? Yeah. Shout out Jason. Good.
And Thizzle. I loved the like Dirty South Christian hip hop. That was like, yeah, that was great for me.
Man, those were great times.
Yeah, I'm just like reminiscing now. Like, I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to sign off so I can go listen to Spotify and just be nostalgic for all of the music I used to love and listen to. Anyways,
thanks for bearing with us, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for hanging. Don't forget, find my Ko-Fi. Trying to get to Midwestuary
2025, August 22nd through the 24th in Elmhurst, Illinois. A weekend you won't want to miss with special guests Cale Zelden, Paul Vanderclay, Rod Dreer, Elizabeth Oldfield, John Vervaeke, and Jonathan Pajot. Midwestuary 2025, the Fellowship of the Spirit. Stay tuned for more details. Visit us at midwestuary.com for ongoing updates.
All right, folks.
Are you willing to trade talk with a stranger? Give a seer or a singer, poet or prophet a greeting, a welcome,
look out for Grim.
Question
Sunday
the
service.
far traveler about creation, its natural power, its bodying forth into everyday wonder through God's grace, its life-quickening capacity and clout, its marvelous moving among men. Each waking wonder is a telling token to the man who understands the wide world, holds a map in his mind, comprehending the shape of creation, and contemplating the past, knowing that long ago warriors and poets could weave truth in proverbs and prophecies, their measure of melodies, the warp and weft of song, so that through their repeating, rehearsing, revising, men might remember this web of mysteries, God's gift of world wonders, of life's rich riddles, of the deep down shaping, sustaining spirit. So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the seminal secrets of creation, unlock his word hoard, inscribe for the world's understanding the art and craft of narration. Are you willing to trade talk with a stranger? Give a seer or a singer, poet or prophet a greeting, a welcome with wise words. So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the seminal secrets of creation, unlock his word hoard, inscribe for the world's understanding the art and craft of narration. The treasure of a good story, the gift of signifying song. A wise man never grows weary of watching wonders, contemplating this grand creation of acting wholly and wisely in the world. So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the Are you willing to trade talk with a stranger? Give a seer or a singer, poet or prophet a greeting, a welcome with wise words. Question the far traveler about creation, its natural power, its bodying forth into everyday wonder through God's grace, its life-quickening capacity and clout, its marvelous moving among men. Each waking wonder is a telling token to the man who understands the wide world, holds a map in his mind, comprehending the shape of creation, and contemplating the past, knowing that long ago warriors and poets could weave truth in proverbs and prophecies, their measure of melodies, the warp and weft of song, so that through their repeating, rehearsing, revising, men might remember this web of mysteries, God's gift of world wonders, of life's rich riddles, of the deep down shaping, sustaining spirit. So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the seminal secrets of creation, unlock his word hoard, inscribe for the world's understanding the art and craft of narration. Are you willing to trade talk with a stranger? Give a seer or a singer, poet or prophet a greeting, a welcome with wise words.
I see. This is, in my mind at least, it's like there's at least two different.
So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the seminal secrets of creation, unlock his word hoard, inscribe for the world's understanding the art and craft of narration. The treasure of a good story, the gift of signifying song. A wise man never grows weary of watching wonders, contemplating this grand creation of acting holy and wisely in the world. So let the deeply thinking man, seeker and seer, who reflects on the simple
as best you can bootstrap at least a semi-playful type of environment mindset with you. And I don't think it's an impossible project. I don't think it's not gonna be necessarily as great as you might hope, and as like groovy as like kind of the playful conversations like in this group or other liminal web groups, where I think we're all people who love deep, playful conversation. It's kind of part of who we are. It's probably why we congregate together. That's just not the case for everyone. So it's like, to me, it's like a really interesting problem to solve. You're talking about an important subject, right? Where people have a lot of emotional investment. People have a lot of maybe ego about their role or what they have to offer in addressing a problem, to like move a little further away from like the real super serious, like frankly just probably have a ton of assumptions about what the right way to approach things are, and if you dare question those, you're just gonna ignite conflict and whatnot into a place where they feel a little more comfortable exploring and playing and being receptive, basically. At the end, though, I don't think it's impossible. I just think, and it's something I've thought about a lot, and I see certain pathways there, but I can't say that I've like
You and I can
hope and your donation. I hope and your donation. Thanks, somebody. Where's the train? Ups, can you find the train? I can't find the train. There's too many brandings loaded. We've overloaded. I've been thinking, where is that? I've been wanting to record a skit that I haven't done, so I'm going to perform it as a rehearsal now. It goes like this. Whoa! You know, You know, because we accentuate what's going on our inside when we're experiencing the deep psychological programming. It's comical. Programming. It's comical.
Deep psychological programming?
Yeah, it's supernormal stimuli. You're familiar as a person in academia with the concept, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, stimuli, and us being us scientist folks, we can pull regard strawberry it down into the essence of the essence of the essence of the stimuli, and that's super normal. Like, you have to have resistance to mind control to not be suckered into it. And
Yeah. No, that makes me think of like these Ash line surveys where it's like if you get people together in a group and they you can get people to say that two lines that are clearly a very different length are the same length because this need
they'd rather not be an outcast.
Don't want to be an outcast. That's it. That's a real thing. It's a beautiful space. I think people are really full of heart and full of hope, which I think is unusual in the United States right now. And they're coming together in a way that, I mean, I'm giving away the plot here, but people are coming together here in a way that they don't come together almost anywhere else. And then they're finding ways to come together in real life too. I think it's huge. I think it's transformative. I think it's going to change the world. I'm on a soapbox now. I don't know.
Well, that was great. That was Clara and Buddy. Show on that beautiful note. Held together by hope and your donations.
Jesus Christ.